Moscow architects have unveiled a development plan of the Russian capital for the next 16 years. The project has been ambiguously called Moscow 2025 and is due to be accepted or rejected by the public in May this year. Ekaterina Grachova went to find out what transformations her native city might undergo.
One of the most vibrant and dynamic cities in the world, Moscow, is awaiting a transformation. The 2025 plan, also referred to as the Plan of Necessities, promises a brand new life to its 15 million residents. Better roads, longer subway lines, more green districts, and most importantly, the historic center would stay untouched.
I would like the center of the city to develop like Paris and not like Berlin, that our dormitory districts are similar to those in England. I'm against globalization in architecture. I know for sure I do not want Moscow to turn into a faceless Asian tiger, a city with no historic memory, like Shanghai or Singapore.
Obviously, it's up to Moscow architects to provide a proper facelift without changing the city's identity. Boris is the author of several edgy projects. 3 years ago, he built a city within a city with houses resembling a sail, a chessboard and an hourglass. He says architects in Moscow experience constant pressure from developers and not all initial plans come to fruition.
An architect should run the show. This is what the city authorities keep saying, but in reality, a developer decides on everything, including the number of stories. He's desperate to sell more square meters. He says, I want a 30-story house here. The authorities say, you can't, only 7 are permitted, and in the end, they agree upon 17.
The sail-shaped house by Boris was also a compromise. As seen from the paper model, there was a chink in the construction, but the developer decided extra apartments were more important than creativity, and the chink was filled in.
This is one of Stalin's famous skyscrapers. It was built in the 50s to demonstrate the glory of the Soviet regime. Guidebooks say there are only 7 such buildings in the city. Or are there 8? Tourists are always a bit confused when they see this modern replica. This residential complex was built just 3 years ago to demonstrate the glory of Moscow developers.
Replicas which are slowly replacing genuine historic monuments is another big problem for the city. The 2025 plan promises to put an end to this. Edmund Harris from the Moscow Architecture Preservation Society is skeptical of the pledges and showed some recent examples of how monuments are being demolished just meters away from the legendary Tretyakov Gallery.
A historic city is a complete organism. You cannot put up large areas of it for redevelopment and simply leave individual buildings. In the same way that you can't, say, put, I don't know, Rembrandt against really jazzy, colourful wallpaper.
A neutral setting can be found in the so-called dormitory districts, which were initially planned as satellite cities where people would work, live and entertain at the same time.
Okay, that's great in theory, but we don't quite know whether it's going to work in practice. The centre of the city is regarded as the most prestigious. It hasn't been devolved at all. So yes, all the traffic flows into the centre in the mornings and then out from the centre in the evenings. And you can see that if you're travelling on the metro.
But while the Kremlin is where it is now and the State Duma stays put, it will be hard to remove business away from the city center, though the financial crisis could help. For many, moving out of the center has already become part of their crisis management plan. Ekaterina Grachova, RT, Moscow.